Welcome to the Plant and Animal Cell Unit. This is an exciting unit, and I think it's really cool because everything that's alive is made of cells. Our cells are mostly microscopic. That means we need to use a microscope to see them. They are so tiny. Matter of fact, they're measured in something called a micron, which takes a millimeter and divides it into 1,000 parts. 1,000 parts. That's teeny, teeny, tiny. So most cells are the average of about 5 microns. You would not be able to see that at all. But some of the larger cells, like an emu egg, you can see. Those are pretty large. You start your life as one cell. And that one cell takes about 24 hours to divide. So for 24 hours-ish, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, you were one single cell. And from that, you're going to grow into this adult, which is really cool. And you're going to be made of 37.2 trillion cells by the time it's all done. Now, some cells only live a short amount of time, like your skin cells, they live about 2 weeks. Some of your cells, like the neurons, can live your whole life. And their cells might only live a few months. They all vary in the length of time that they live. Now, approximately 50 billion to 70 billion cells in a human body die every single day, but cells are constantly reproducing, so you're replacing those cells as you go. We're going to get started on our notes. These notes are going to be done so that you have a pause, so that you can write. So don't feel like you have to scramble to write just because something appears on the screen. But do make sure that you're following along and know that there will be some questions as we go. So let's get started. All living things are made of cells. Some living things are made of one cell, sometimes called unicellular, while others are multicellular or made of many cells. Cells make tissues, tissues make organs, and organs make organ systems. The cell membrane is our first part. And the cell in general, this is the whole cell. And the membrane part tells us that it's a security system that's going to surround the cell. So it's this outer area right here. This arrow right here is touching it. That's the cell membrane. But it's right inside here on the plant cell. And we'll get to what this outside edge is on a plant cell in just a little bit. So the cell membrane is right in here. And the cell membrane is a really thin layer. It is semi-permeable. That means it allows some things to go in and it keeps others out. It's kind of like a security system. Not everything's going to get in. And it is on the outside of the animal cell, but it's inside that cell wall on a plant cell, and it's found in both plant and animal cells. Go ahead and just circle the word both on your notes. The cell wall is the outside of a plant cell. Now, walls, like in this room, are rigid and structured, and they keep the room in this exact shape. However, I could knock them down. That'd take a lot of work, and I'd probably get in a lot of trouble. I don't really want to find out how much trouble I would get into. A wall is rigid and hard, and we're going to leave it and say it's going to keep its shape. And that's exactly what the cell wall does for a plant. It holds it in shape, gives it a structure. So it is the outside of a plant cell, and it gives the cell shape and structure, and it's found only in a plant cell. If animal cells, like your cells, had this, you would not be able to move. Cytoplasm fills up this area, and it's all this white space in here. This arrow right here points to the cytoplasm. Here's the cytoplasm here. And it's a jelly-like substance that the organelles swim in. And by jelly-like, think about grape jelly. If I ran my finger through grape jelly, I could move through it, but it would still kind of support my finger as we went. It wouldn't just like let my finger drop to the bottom of the dish. So it's a jelly-like substance that the organelles swim in. It's located between the cell membrane and the nuclear membrane, and it's found in both plant and animal cells. The nucleus. This is a really, really important part. It's the center part here, this big circle. Okay, so this arrow here is pointing in the nucleus. This arrow here is pointing in the nucleus. And the nucleus is where all the important genetic material is in the animal and the plant. And it contains all that great information in there that makes you, like what makes you have grandma's hair color and Uncle Harry's dimples, and you're tall like your mom. All of those things are inside there. And the nucleus is the part that controls everything that goes on in the cells. So it's a spherical body, like a ball, that controls the cell functions, and it contains many organelles. It is located in the center of the cell because we don't want things to be able to get to it and change that genetic material that's in there. And it's found in both plant and animal cells. The nuclear membrane, well, nuclear kind of sounds like nucleus, and that's exactly what it means. It's going to be talking about the nucleus, this center big circle here, but the membrane is going to surround it. And just like before when we had the word membrane, it means security system. So it's going to be a membrane that allows some things to go in and keeps others out. And all your genetic material is in there, so this becomes really, really important that we don't let things get in there and change that. So it's a membrane that surrounds the nucleus, and it is found in both plant and animal cells. The word nuclear should clue you in that this is the nucleus that we're talking about, as opposed to the cell membrane, which talks about the whole cell. The nucleolus is an organelle that is just found in the nucleus. It's this body right here, okay? And it does have some functions. They're pretty complex, so we're not going to get into it. So we're just going to say that it's an organelle that is found in the nucleus. Animal cells can have more than one, and plant cells have only one. Think of them kind of as the secretary for the nucleus. Some of them have one, some of them have many secretaries, and it is found in both plant and animal cells. On your plant cell diagram, please label these parts. On your animal cell diagram, please label these parts. And on your study guide, please mark a star on the animal side on tab 1, 3, 4, 5, and 10, and on the plant side on 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 10. And you are done with day 1's notes.